Catch it. Catch it.
He is. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
what time is it? Oh, the show, Damien.
The show, fucking hell, it's been a long bloody season.
Oh, that's the year over and now. How would you look? Jesus. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Gaelic Football Views on wearecavan.com. Hello.
Great to have you with us here on Gaelic Football Views on wearecavan.com. On tonight's show, we'll be looking back over the prize weekend in the club calendar in Cavan, where Kingscourt were crowned the senior champions for 2015.
We'll also be reviewing the Minor A final and all the other fixtures that took place on the weekend as well. So
we're going to start off with the Brady's Arva Volkswagen Breffni League Division 1B final, which saw Killigarry taking on Drumlane. This was in Lacken on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and Killigarry came away with a convincing enough win here. Finished 1-16 to 1-9. I was out at this game. It was one-sided.
Yeah, well, looks that way definitely from the scoring. I was talking to a couple of Killigarry lads, and they were saying that last week in the semi-final that they were missing a good few players. They were missing 6 or 7 players, and they basically started with the same team that they had last week in the semi-final, you know, and they brought on a couple of the elder statesmen, I suppose, towards the end and whatever. But a great result for Killigarry.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they were very convincing. Now Ryan Connolly, obviously missing for Drumlane, is just a massive loss to them. He's suspended.
Right. Oh yes, he got suspended.
Yeah. He was a huge loss, and they really lacked that focal point in attack. And Barry Corrigan came on, and in fairness, they tried everything. They put in, I think he's Fergal Brady in the full forward line, and then they put Dano Dowd in, and they were trying everything, but they just couldn't get the scores that was needed. So it was. But on the other side, Killigarry, again, lovely fluid football. Fast attacking.
Matt Riley was outstanding, I believe.
Very good game again, yeah. Andy McGovern, another excellent game. Matty McKenna, I thought, was brilliant. Donald Thomas had a very good game.
He came on as a sub.
Donald?
Yeah.
I think he started. I think he started now, but then, I'm nearly sure. He definitely was on before half-time anyway, if he did. But yeah, some very good performances. Pádraig Cahill at full-back again. Absolutely brilliant. He's been one of the best players of this championship gone by.
I remember him when he was on the county panel first, and he was a lot younger, and he was, I suppose, he probably hadn't got the experience behind him that he has now, but he is a really, really good defender. He's a top drawer defender, and he's a defender.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? He really is a defender.
That's it. No, absolutely excellent. So congratulations to Killigarry on picking up the bit of silverware. I suppose it crowns off a very good year for Killigarry.
Absolutely, having got to the semi-final of the senior championship. The result from the Breffni League Division 2 final, which took place in the weekend, was Shercock 6 goals and 7 points, Butler's Bridge 7 points, and we always said it, Damien, goals win games, and it was a case of that in this game.
Definitely was. 6 goals win games. Now, I think for Butler's Bridge, Fergal Flanagan was missing. He's injured or something. I don't know why exactly he couldn't play, but he wasn't available for Butler's Bridge. So that was a big loss to Shercock, to Butler's Bridge. But to Shercock, they'll be delighted to have picked up some silver. They were bitterly disappointed to go out of the championship so early.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have anticipated that. But they come up against a good Swan Bar team, so it was I suppose a bit of a reward for them. And that's the end of their season. Now they've one more game, as we'll see later on in the show, but it's not a very important game for them at all.
Yeah.
But that brings us on then to the ladies scene, where Lorgan were taking on Castlewellan on Saturday afternoon. I think it was at 4 o'clock in the replay after the draw up in Castlewellan. This was in Lorgan, but the Virginia girls came away with a great victory here, 10-point win. It finished 117 to 1-7. So now they progress to the Ulster Senior semi-final, which is a great achievement.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant for the girls from Lorgan, and wonderful, that they got the replay back in Ramor down in Virginia, and I believe that there was a great crowd and everything at it, and you need that when you're going into Ulster Sea-Doo, definitely. Yeah. And I believe as well that the Lacan Camogie ladies have got to an Ulster final.
Brilliant.
In the Camogie as well, which is great to see.
I think they were in the Ulster final last year.
Which is brilliant, so they're going on to the final of the Camogie. We'll bring fixture for that for when we get it.
Yeah, exactly. The Farnham Arms Hotel Minor 8 Football Championship final took place on Sunday at 1 o'clock in Kingspan Breffni Park. It was between, I think, the only two United clubs in the country.
I think there's a third one. I think there's two in Cavan, and then there's one somewhere else. There's definitely no more than three Uniteds clubs that end with United in the country, which is great to see. The two of them, they were both United at the end of the game anyway.
They were, but it was, they were United because it finished up a draw. It finished Ramor 11 points and Lara 1 goal and 8. It sounds low scoring, and it is low scoring, I suppose, relatively, but it was a very entertaining game.
Yeah, this was a cracker of a game now, in fairness. So it was Lara who lost the Division 2 league final this year and opted to go into senior. Bet the favourites, up into Division 1 of the minor, opted to do that, and then took on Southern Gales, the favourites in the semi-final, and 3 times in it, and bet them going on to this final. They really had their work cut out for them against Ramor, but they led from start to finish, and in fairness, they should have got a free at the very end of the game on the 21-metre line right in front of the goals, and that would have won the game for them, but the referee didn't see it that way, and they both teams lived to fight another day. But
I was speaking to somebody who spoke to the referee after, and he seen it as just a coming together of legs, that there was no deliberate trip in any way. I suppose
it's funny because I like the way it was an accidental foul. A foul is a foul. Be it accidental or not. If a lot of the times you don't mean to foul a fella.
Yeah, apparently from his point of view, though, that both players fell to the ground. Both players had no responsibility in it. So where do you give the free? Because neither player was in possession.
I got sent off in Crow Park for that.
No, you got sent off for hitting the Roscommon man.
No, I didn't. It was a coming together of legs. The ball was in front of us, and I tried to run behind him. He came across in front of me, and our legs tangled, and we fell. And I got a second yellow. And it's the exact same. No, that's exactly what happened. James McKenna, Jack McKenna, got out in front of the full-back, Shane Quealy, I think it was, for Ramor. And it was just a coming together of legs, but he had made the run. Look, at the end of the day, both teams are getting to fight again, but I do think that Lara, and having said that, I'm not giving out with the referee because he had a great game.
He had a brilliant game, flawless up to that point, as in the...
And if that's the way he saw it, that's the way he saw it.
Exactly.
The referee has to call it and whatever.
Exactly.
Just it would have been a very easy free to give as well. It would have been harsh on Ramor having coming back into this game as well. But just to talk about some of the players, it was absolutely brilliant.
Just before we do move on, I do want to make it clear actually, because we do get a lot of grief that we give out about referees. Jerry Shorten had an absolutely brilliant game.
Yeah.
He was flawless, and there wasn't one mistake. And I remember commenting on it during the commentary that, we didn't even notice him. He was doing such a good job that you didn't even notice he was refereeing. Yeah. He was just letting the game flow. There was no dirt involved. Anything that had to be dealt with was dealt with short, sharp, and gone again.
It was a hard-hitting minor match. So it was
brilliant.
A brilliant minor match. And I have to say that one man that stood out was Cian Carlin, wearing the number 3 from Lara, playing in midfield. What a player. Yeah. He'd fit into any senior team.
How many turnovers did he get? His tackling is just brilliant.
Tackling some of his field and then just driving forward through tackles was absolutely brilliant. Jack McKenna at full forward for Lara was exceptional.
I thought the two Rileys, Lee and Porrick, the two wing halves, were very good, and Conor O'Rourke's goal was brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Owen Cooney, a live wire. Unbelievable speed, unbelievable pace. He just didn't bring his shooting boots though, because I know he can score. He can score a hell of a lot. He got 2 points, but he probably had 5 wides. Yeah. And
But he was the pinnacle of
He
the
was.
Lara forward line. He was the focal point
yeah.
all the time. And in fairness, Matthew McGee went back to mark him for Rammer, and he did do a good job on him for a while towards the latter part of the first half.
Another very good footballer.
Really good footballer. But then in the second half, Owen Cooney started to make his runs out the field and whatever, and got a lot of ball. Two people that stood out for me in particular, two goalkeepers, Fergal O'Rourke, Liam Brady.
What talent we have coming through.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's frightening.
Those two boys are going to be fighting each other for
County senior goals. I'm telling you, like that.
If the two of them keep at it.
Just unbelievable. Their striking of the ball was brilliant. Their kickouts were excellent. Like
Fergal
they were
O'Rourke's kickouts
just phenomenal. And they both had saves to make, point blank saves to make, and pulled
both
them off.
both got on the scoreboard as well. The goalkeeper Fergal O'Rourke got 3. And Liam Brady got 2, and all fantastic scores. Fergal O'Rourke's 2 in the second half were both of them were outside the 45 metre line. They were 55 metres. Like
absolutely brilliant. Another quick word before we move on about, I thought Killian Maguire was excellent.
Yeah, Killian Maguire was absolutely brilliant as well for Rammer in the middle of the field. He's a big man, really good. Daniel Rourke as well. He was absolutely exceptional, and James Brady as well in corner forward. Is he a brother of Jack's?
Yeah,
he is a brother of Jack's, because there was a discussion in the stand. Like it was like looking at Jack. So it was, but I didn't want to call.
That's John's young fella as well. So it was. Look, if they live to fight another day, I would say that final replay will be this coming weekend more than likely. So get in and watch
with the league games on next weekend, the mightn't go ahead.
Oh, that's right.
The final round of the league games, but as soon as we find out when that is being played, we will let you know. But there is a full last round of league fixtures in Cavan next weekend, which you'll see later on.
Moving on anyway to the fixtures that are coming up this weekend. What we're going to do is preview the weekend's games because, or just bring you the list of the games and the relevance of them, because it is the final league game or round of league games for 2015, and it'll tell the promotions, the relegations.
And then we'll do the senior final.
And then we'll go on to the senior final. So in the Kiernan Service Station All County Football League Division 1, the games are as follows. It's on Sunday the 18th of October, and they're all at 2:30. So it's Cavan Gaels at home to Ballina, Kingscourt at home to Castlerahan, which is hilarious.
Just while we're running through them, we might bring up the tables on the screen, Division 1A, as we're running through the fixtures.
Yeah, you can see them. They're up on your screen there now. So it's Cavan Gaels at home to Ballina, Kingscourt at home to Castlerahan, Coothill at home to Lacken, and Ballyhaise at home to I think we're trying to get these, as you can see, we're trying to get the tables just up on your screen. It'll be up in just a minute, but what we'll basically, so Castlerahan are sitting on top of the Division 1 table.
Yeah, Castlerahan are taking on Kingscourt. Castlerahan are already through to a league final, which is an absolutely
big semi-final. There's semi-finals
in
Division
1A. Yeah, like they've had an exceptional year, going to the senior championship final, getting into the league semi-final very easily. But for
Kingscourt,
they need the win as well, and they need to hope that other results go their way as well.
Well, no, if they win, they have. There's 3 teams below, so at most Ballina and Cavan Gaels can reach is 9 points. If Kingscourt win, they're on 10.
Yeah,
so they're safe.
But you're safe, yeah. But for the semi-finals,
to
get into semi-finals,
they could still be in a relegation.
They could still be in a relegation playoff as well, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Just looking at the table there,
Cavan Gaels are playing Ballina, who are second from bottom and third from bottom. So actually, the loser of that game is in a relegation playoff.
And if it's a draw, both of them will probably end up in a relegation playoff as well.
Yeah, because the other game then, Coothill are taking on Lacken. Coothill are on 8 points. Lacken are up there on 8 points as well, though.
Yeah, they are indeed.
It's so funny. So basically, on relegation watch are Lacken, Mullahoran, Kingscourt, Coothill, Ballyhaise, Cavan Gaels and Ballina are all, and Lavey are in a relegation playoff.
They're either relegated or at best they're in a relegation playoff.
Yeah. So it means then Mullahoran taking on Lavey. Mullahoran need to win there. Lavey need to win it to hope to get into a relegation playoff. But actually, sorry, Lavey's 2 wins. Lavey have 2 wins on the board, and they're against Ballina and Cavan Gaels.
So which
is relevant.
Yes, because if they win their game, they go on to the same points as the team that loses above them, which will mean that they will jump ahead of them on head-to-head, and it will mean that either Cavan Gaels or Ballina, if they were to lose and Lavi were to win, would be automatically relegated, and Lavi would be going into a play-off with whatever team would be third from bottom.
There's so many
permutations and combinations here. It's absolutely brilliant. You've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams playing for a semi-final spot as well.
Yeah.
You know, which is just incredible. It's remarkable.
It's amazing, yeah. It shows how competitive that Division 1 league is. So we'll move on to the Division 2, the All-County Football League, Division 1B, sorry. And the games are, again, on Sunday afternoon at 2:30. And they are between Red Hills are at home to Drumlane, Drumgoon are at home to Gowna, Killashandra are at home to Arva, Crushala are at home to Killigary, and Cuhullins are at home to Den. All very important games too, for the simple reason that we have at the top of the table there, you have Arva. They're on 14 points. 1 point will be enough to see them go through, so they take on Killashandra. A draw is enough for Arva, but a draw is no good to a draw might be good enough for Killashandra, depending on Crushalaw's result.
But Killashandra, to really put themselves up there with a chance of to guarantee survival in this Division 1B, need the win.
The funny thing is that Crushlaw play Killigary, as we said earlier. Yeah. They're on 6 and 7 points. So that means that the loser of that game more than likely will end up in a relegation playoff, provided Killashandra win.
You know, like it's just, again, there's so many permutations and combinations here.
And then still at the top end, looking for promotion.
You've got Gowna, Cuhullins and Drumlane, because Arva, if they pick up a point, will be guaranteed promotion, and then the other two teams in second and third will be playing in a playoff for promotion. So it's just...
So Drumlane are playing Red Hills, who are already relegated. Nothing that they can't... Oh, sorry. If Red Hills beat Drumlane,
yep,
they'd put Den into the relegation playoff, provided Den don't beat Cuhullins, because Red Hills' only victory was against Den
as well. Yeah, so it's again, there's so many permutations and combinations in the leagues at the moment, that it's going to be a hell of a weekend for football. And I just wonder what teams have been training, what teams have been trying to make sure that they stay up in each division. So it's just phenomenal looking at the tables.
Yeah, so we'll move on then to the All-County Football League Division 2, and the tables are just coming up on your screen now in a second. The games are Butler's Bridge are at home to Killincare, Lara are at home to Drumalee, Shercock are at home to Ballymacue, and Ballyborough are at home to Swanland Bar. And again, there's so many permutations can happen in this one.
Yeah, we're just looking at it there, and you've got Swanland Bar and Ballyborough both on 15 points.
Who are playing each other, so the winner of that game will be promoted.
Automatically. Then
a draw would go to score difference, which would give Swanland Bar the advantage.
It would give Swanland Bar the advantage in that one. But whoever loses that game is guaranteed a playoff.
Exactly. And it's guaranteed to be against Belturbet.
Then in the relegation spot, Drumalee are already relegated. Muncher Connacht are in
the relegation playoff.
And then you've got Shercock, Butler's Bridge, Lara, Killincare and Ballymacue.
Sorry, no, Shercock aren't. They can't be dragged into that because their last game is against Ballymacue, so only one of them.
Oh yes.
So it's between Butler's Bridge and Killincare, who are playing each other, Lara, who are playing Drumalee, who have nothing to play for, and Ballymacue, who are playing Shercock. So any one of the four teams, Ballymacue, Killincare, Lara and Butler's Bridge, could all end up in a relegation playoff, depending on the other results. So it's going to be
a lot to play for in that league as well. Like, which is, the only disappointing thing about this is that league, these games should have been played before the championship even started.
It's a shame.
Because to give everybody a fighting chance, I think it's the only way to do it is to play them off all at the same time.
Yeah, and the last of the tables to come up on your screen there, it is the Riverfront Hotel All-County Football League Division 3 table, and it's just coming onto your screen there now, and it's Knockbride or Conickbride taking on Shannon Gales. Kildallan are at home to Cornafane, Corla are at home to Templeport, and Mount Nugent are at home to Kill.
Yeah, and the big game in this is Kildallan taking on Cornafane, because Templeport will be playing near neighbours Corla, and I'd be presuming that Templeport will beat Corla in that game. They win, they go on 16 points. If Kildallan win and go on to 16 points as well, Templeport bet Kildallan in the.
So it's in Templeport's own hands, really.
It's in Templeport's own hands.
Because Cornafane can't
Well,
come up above it.
Well, yeah, but
And neither can
Cornafane could come up into the playoff position for second and third. It's a huge game for Cornafane against Kildallan. They need to win to get into a third place playoff. Drung
and the funny thing is, if Cornafane are to beat Kildallan, it's more than likely Kildallan who will lose out on that third place playoff, because I think Drung bet Kildallan, so to go to the head-to-head. So that's a massive game.
Yeah, absolutely huge. It's just, I'm not sure. I think it could have been Templeport who bet Kildallan in that league game.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because but it's just even at head-to-head at the minute, Kildallan will be losing out because Templeport beat them in the league. But it's just crazy. There's 4 or 5 teams there, 4 teams in Division 3 who can get promoted there, and it's going to be manic. I'd love to have a Sky Sports style show going on.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that, because hopefully on wearecavan.com we will be bringing you
an audio version
of the Gillette Soccer Saturday, where hopefully we'll be getting updates from around the county, and we'll be broadcasting it live from a studio. So it should be a very interesting.
And all those games are taking place at what time?
2:30. 2:30. So we hope to get the show going at 2:30 on wearecavan.com on the Listen Live page. So should be absolutely
tune in around the 2:20 mark, because I'm sure someone will want to go through all of the fixtures that are going to be happening, and to keep up to date and whatever.
Keep up to date. You'll get it all on wearecavan.com Listen Live page. So that brings us on then to the main event.
Oh yeah, well, it was the main event for the weekend, I suppose.
And for the year, in fairness, and it was the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship final between Kingscourt and Castlerahan. First half of a slow enough burner, 2 teams feeling each other out and trying to do a little bit cautious, but second half it opened up and it became a brilliant game of football.
Yeah, 5 points to 2 in favour of Castlerahan at half time, and we did talk about this last week, and we said that one team or both teams were going to try and do that, try and get a lead for half time and probably try and see out the match from there.
Yeah.
And Castlerahan, to their detriment, they weren't able to see it out. Tried their best, kind of went score for score then in the second half, but the pivotal moment, I suppose, in the game was the substitution of
bringing in Philip Smith,
who came on for
Christopher
McGowan into the full forward line for Kingscourt. It gave Kingscourt a new option. They were able to go long with the ball when Castlerahan attacked and lost the ball. Kingscourt were able to move the ball fast and then drive it into the forward line. And they only did it 3 times. Paid off once.
Yeah.
So it did.
That's
Philip Smith caught a ball that he should, that was going wide practically. He caught it on the end line out to the left hand side of the flaggy bottom end of Kingsman Refney Park.
As it's commonly
known. As it's well known. As it's always been known. And he caught the ball. Looked like he was going to come back in on the outside on his right foot. Dummied, came back in, showed a bit of strength, pushed off the defender. Ran along the end line, looked like he was going to fist it over the bar, saw the run of Philip Tinley, put it across, and Philip Tinley slapped it into the net. And it was a wonderful bit of play. And in fairness to Philip Smith, as he alluded to after the match, Philip Tinley could have passed him the ball 3 or 4 times, and he didn't. So he says, I'm going to make a spectacle of him by giving the ball to him to put him in the net. But it was a great goal, and Castlerahan came back at them and got to within a point. And the last kick of the game, Paul Smith, when they were after working the ball so well into a scoring position, Paul Smith was the brave man, stood up for Castlerahan, took the shot on, and he was the width of a lick of paint away from drawing the game level.
Like we said it last week on the show, that it would be the smallest of margins that would separate these teams, and it literally was that much. Yeah. It was that much, and that's all it was between them 2 teams. And it was what we all expected it to be, a really, really close, high tempo, high intensity game of football that, you know, I personally thought the second half was just so exciting, so full of...
No, it was really exciting. It wasn't the best football in the world, but it was very exciting, so it was. Because it's not that it wasn't the best football, it was just that the two teams were very similar and they liked their offensive systems, and maybe that was on show, how good the defences were. Like if you remember, Rory Sheridan.
I actually have to say, and the more, because when we put it to Niall Lynch about two defensive teams, and he was kind of saying, I don't think we're a defensive team. So I watched it very closely, and I have to agree with him now that I look back on it. Kingscourt aren't a defensive team, they're a team of good defenders.
Yes,
There's a difference. Like, Castlerahan are a defensive team, they're bringing huge numbers back, but I think that just, you mentioned it, Rory Sheridan, how many times did he block?
3 blocks.
Diving across.
3 blocks.
Páirc Faulkner had 2 or 3 of the same. Shane Gray was brilliant. Again, like, they really have... I thought Noel McEnroe done a very good job on Cian Mackey.
He did a very good job. He was obviously given a man-marking job. He sacrificed his game for the team.
Yeah.
You know, he kept Cian Mackey away from goal, so he did. Cian Mackey ended up scoring 3 frees, 3 points from frees. And his shooting, he made sure that when Cian was shooting, it was well out the field. Now we know Cian is capable of kicking them over from out the field.
I think he only really caught a hold of one shot that dropped short. No, that was it for Cian, like from open play. So
I think one went wide on the far side as well, on the right hand side, shooting into the 10
right,
right. But it was. We talked about this last week. We talked about it in the car up to Dublin on Thursday night as well. I talked about the defenders that Kingscourt have, and they just were so good. They nullified Cian McEnroe, who's been absolutely outstanding all year.
And Oisin O'Connell.
You know, Enda Flanagan was his usual self. He was out round, getting on ball, busy. Quaylen McBreen was excellent until he had to go off. Don't know why he had to go off, but he was...
And Fergal Riley as well, I thought.
Yeah, Fergal Riley was brilliant. Stephen Cooney, absolutely brilliant as well. He got some serious tackles in, got some great blocks in as well.
And Paul Lukey had a great game. He had a very good game too. Like I can't actually commend Paul Smith enough, because I did think at the time there was too many Castlerahan players passing the buck. Like they were never going to get an easy chance to equalise. It was always going to have to be a difficult one. But they were waiting and hoping that this easy chance was going to come by moving the ball, but the clock was running and somebody had to step up, and Paul Lukey was that inch away from being the hero that he deserves to be, in fairness, for his performances so far this year.
Yeah, and he was exceptional again yesterday. It has to be said. Like, he was absolutely brilliant. And then you look at
Daniel Lynch actually had a very good game as well for Castlerahan, wing half forward. I thought his work rate was brilliant, and he intercepted a lot of ball. He was playing very deep, but very intelligent footballer too.
And Ronan Flanagan was his usual self, you know. Busy in the half-back line, winning a lot of ball. He could put in some great tackles as well, I have to say.
That's right.
Ronan Flanagan stripped Barry Riley and stripped some of the bigger players.
Not to forget, before we move on to Kingscourt, Cormac Daly, I thought had an excellent game. He's one I'm excited about watching him. Cavan on the 21s, I'm sure next year. I'd be surprised if he's not a pinnacle player or a central player for that on the 21 team, because
he's a workhorse. You know, he just doesn't stop. He's from one 20-metre line to the other 20-metre line, not from 45 to 45.
And he can tackle and he can kick points as well. He
scored 2 points. 2 monster points as well. Like, you know,
absolutely brilliant. On to the Kingscourt side there again. My first attention has to go to Peter Corrigan. I thought this young lad is a talent. He's a real talent, and when they looked like Darragon was being well held, I thought that, you know, Castlerahan had Darragon well snuffed out, which was a very difficult thing to do, but it was Peter Corrigan was the go-to man for Kingscourt. Yeah,
and his ball handling, you know, like the ball stuck. You know, there was O'Gaden, he moved into full forward for a little while and they put in a couple of balls. And he caught one amazing one.
On the town end.
At the town end, went up and caught this ball towards the end of the first half. The only thing was, unfortunately for him, when he caught it, he was one-on-one with his man, but Castlerahan just flooded it all, so all of a sudden, and he ended up out in the corner with the ball, and he was just on the edge of the square when he caught it, going away from goal. They managed to push him out, and he worked the ball back around, but he was just a live wire, and he was so strong and so good on the ball. He probably ran out of steam a little bit in the second half.
He overcarried the ball a couple of times.
But that'll come with experience.
Oh yeah, like look, for an 18-year-old or 17, it's still a minor. He's a very exciting prospect. Philip Tinley picking up man of the match. obviously got the goal. He
And
had to be on the end of it, but the point he got to put Kingscourt in front for the first time with the outside of the right boot, that was key. And it was a good distance out.
Yeah, he was shooting down into the flaggy bottom end, as it's commonly known. And he was down on the stand side of Kingston Referee Park, and the ball was worked across to the centre and then played out to him. He was in a little bit of space. He went, he ran towards the end line and then just cut in and with the outside of the boot curled it over the bar, and it was a wonderful score with the outside of the boot. Great score, and you know, he was so good from start to finish. The amount of running he did, he just never gave up. He was absolutely brilliant. And
I'd have to say, and was just discussing it today, because I thought Castlerahan had their matchups done very well, but they seemed to forget about Philip Tinley, or maybe because he hadn't been playing well throughout the championship and not consistently starting, they didn't seem to have a man marker real tight on him, and he took full advantage. Like, he had a brilliant game.
Yeah, I think they may have thought he would have been in the half back line.
Maybe, yeah,
and
maybe.
They probably forgot about him for that reason or whatever. But you know, he's one of these players as well. In a game like that, you needed, because of the way Castlerahan set up, you need, if you're attacking against Castlerahan, you need to spread it wide. And if you remember, he was always hugging the sideline. Always hugging the sideline. He knew what to do, and what he was doing, he was carrying the ball from one 45 to the other 45 along the end, along the sideline, and you know, trying to draw the Castlerahan players out. But he was excellent. I thought that Barry Riley's free taking again was.
But it's only free taking. It's easy done. It's easy done.
It's easy.
I was saying that to Barry after the game. Like, it's only frees. Like, for God's sake, sure.
Only 50-meter frees.
Exactly. Sure, anyone can kick them. Like, for God's sake.
Left and right hand side of the field. Like, you know, it was just. But there was two in particular that when we were doing the commentary on it, we were like, "Oh, Barry's just hit that a bit too far to the left." Hang on a second, that's gone over the blue spot. Like, and it just literally, it would be going way out. And then all of a sudden, there was no wind. There was no wind, and it just, and all of a sudden, it would just drop over the blue spot on the, and you're like going, that the accuracy and it's so effortless for him. He just steps up and he just kicks it.
He's a joy to watch. In fairness, I have to say.
But and I have to say, he was well marshalled. There was a man marking job done on him.
That's right, Alan Cusick.
Alan Cusick was told, mark Barry Riley. From open play, Barry, in the last 15 minutes, it opened up a little bit, and Barry was getting on ball, and he was actually
spraying the
passes over into the space on the far side of the pitch. But Kieran Gorman, I thought, had a good game in midfield, caught a lot of ball. Drove. He's their 45 to 45 man. He just gets the ball between the two 45s and drives.
He's had a brilliant season for Kingscourt, it has to be said.
You know, and you think of this Kingscourt team, you know, Rory Sheridan, I have to go back to him, absolutely phenomenal. He threw his body on the line so many times for kids. But you look at this Kingscourt team and the amount of injuries they've had all year. Like, you know, Barry Tully was only coming back from injury. Philip Smith came on, he's only coming back from injury.
Kieran McArdle,
what a player.
2 points, absolutely brilliant when he came on.
Yeah, his speed.
Yeah.
You know, his speed and his strength.
He was very direct. Torn and taking on his man very quickly.
Well able to get his man out of his way and then make a beeline for the goals. Like
very good. And Christy McGowan, I thought he had a very good
Ryan
game.
Carey got in a lot of ball as well. Came out the
Barry
field
Tully.
Barry Tully. Keith McCabe as well. Keith McCabe wasn't his usual self. I don't think he was playing as a wing half forward. Dropping back a little bit. But he didn't have look, he had a good game, but he didn't have the game that we've seen him having all this year. Like, but you couldn't knock either. Like Quayle McBreen as well. There was 2 or 3 times that he just showed a clean pair of heels.
And he showed it on Philip Tinley.
Who
was very quick, and Ciaran McBreen was able to get away from him a couple of times. Now, I think McBreen had the quickest on the first 10 to 15 yards, and he'd get away from Philip in that stage. But then when it continued on, Philip had gained the ground back again, like different types of speed. But
one's a sprinter and one's a long distance runner, you know.
Yeah, well, that's it. But it was just absolutely brilliant to watch. Like, I have to say, I know, look at it, some people are saying it wasn't, you know, the football in it mightn't have been as good as people thought, but I just enjoyed it tactically. I thought it was very a word about both managers, I have to say, brilliantly prepared teams. They knew the threats on the opposition. They nullified the main threats on the opposition. Like, both managers will look back on the DVD and say, well, listen, we had certain people to mark, we had certain people to stop, we done that. It was probably the players that we didn't really mention last week in the preview that ended up standing up on the game and making the difference. Philip Tinley being one of them. Like he wasn't really, or Philip Smith for that matter.
Yeah.
Players that we mentioned last week to say they're key to Kingscourt, but it was
again. If you look, probably what won it for Kingscourt was their subs, because they had a larger amount of subs, I suppose, of quality subs to bring in. And Sean Brady and Fergal Flanagan come on and did make a difference for Castleran. But you look at the subs that came on for Kingscourt. You know, you had Philip Smith coming in. You had Gavin Sheenan come in for James Riley, who got injured. James Farley, yeah. You had Keane McCardle. You had number 20, Mark McGovern, and 23 was Mossy Malone. Yeah. You know, and they all played their part when they came in. I felt so sorry for Castleran. It was a very hard, a very cruel way to lose a senior final, but
there's no easy way to lose.
There's no easy way, and all credit to Kingscourt. And as you said, the two managers. We spoke with this. I said it was going to be a battle of the two managers. One thing about Niall Lynch, if something wasn't working, he changed.
He's quick. He's very quick.
He changed it very, very quick.
I actually don't think. In fairness, Michael Riley as well cannot. Nobody could look back and say, well, look, he got it wrong. No. He got it right. Yeah. He got it perfectly right. And when there's a 1 point defeat, there's very little. It's the smallest of margins. It's the width of a post. It's the fingertip on a ball that'll decide a 1 point defeat, and that can't be, I suppose, quantified in your preparation for a game.
That's it.
Those little things. Once you're within a point, you've done everything you can possibly do. It's down to those little bits of luck. Maybe.
The little bit of luck, the rub of the green, the bounce of a ball, you know, and that's what it was at the end of the day.
Exactly. Nothing more,
and we did say it, but congratulations to Kingscourt on winning it. Wonderful scenes after the game on the pitch and the whole lot, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was so exciting. Such disappointment for Castleran, but you know there has to be a winner.
A brief word about the Riley family. Unfortunately, Peter, Michael's brother, was managing Carrickmacross, and they were beaten in the intermediate final yesterday by one single point as well.
And led that game for large periods as well, similar to Castleran.
Can Peter Riley, he is, any game he ever loses, it seems to be by 1 point. He doesn't seem to lose by more than 1 point. I don't know. I can actually feel for him, because my championship record is the same with a couple of 1 point defeats here and there. It's heartbreaking stuff, but Peter no doubt will bounce back again.
It's a cruel game. It's a cruel game.
And one other quick word about, and it was great to see Joe McCarthy in Kingspan Breffni Park yesterday. We want to wish Joe a speedy recovery. Absolutely. There's no doubt Joe will be back manning sidelines and roaring up and down and motivating youngsters around Kingscourt and Cavan in the hopefully near future, but definitely in the future. We want to wish our very best to Joe, and anybody out there, just if you're into it, say a prayer for Joe. He's going to need prayers for the next few days.
It was just brilliant for him to be there. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So
delighted for him, and the very
I'm sure
best.
He's just as delighted as anybody else that Kingscourt are champions of Cavan again. So he is. So
without a doubt. So we're going to roll on now to the Sheridan Insurance's Breffni All Stars Player of the Week. We for a number of different reasons we couldn't get the Player of the Week in for the last few weeks, so we decided we'll get all of them together in the one place, or most of them together in the one place, and Mickey will go and have a chat with them. So we have that video, I think, ready to go here. We'll roll it there. Brian.
We're here in the Hotel Kilmore for the Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars awards for the last 3 weeks. The three lads won their awards over the last 3 weeks, and we've got three representatives from Sheridan Insurance. Benny couldn't make it this evening, so we've Emma. Emma, you're going to present yours to Ben, I think it is.
Yeah. There you go.
That's Ben. And then George, you're presenting yours to Shane Gray, I think it is. And then Siobhan, you're presenting yours to Stephen Smith. Well done. Siobhan, actually, if I can just have you back in for a minute. Siobhan, not only did the lads win these lovely awards, but they also get some sort of an insurance prize as well.
10% discount voucher for Sheridan Insurance.
Excellent. And that can be used in any insurance, household insurance, car insurance?
Absolutely, yeah. whatever insurance they choose, house or car or whatever it is.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I tell you, Siobhan, I'm just going to go on to the lads now. Ben, you received yours for the junior final, the first time since, what was it, 1968 that you won a junior title. The last title you won was in 95, I think it was an intermediate one. But your performance that day, absolutely outstanding. What do you remember of that day? Because I know there's been a lot of celebrating since.
It was a brilliant team performance on the day. We knew against Corner Fame we get nothing easy, but on the day we all gelled, everything clicked, and just brilliant to get the win,
Yeah, and it was funny because, it was the young lads, yourself, Benjamin Kelly, Dylan Raythorne, that have stood out for this Templeport team all year. And unfortunately for Dylan, he got a hamstring injury, I think it was in the first half, was it?
Yeah, in the first half he pulled his hamstring, but he's been at the physio now a few times, so hopefully we're getting him back for the Ulster campaign. But yeah, no, we've a good underage team coming up and broke into the seniors, and we've a few older fellas, I suppose, and we've kind of mixed the two of us together, and it's really come together this year, and it's just brilliant to get the win,
Yeah, it was very exciting. If you want to come over here, because it's funny that I mentioned 68, because there's a lot of omens going on in the room here tonight, because in 1968 was the last time that Stephen, that you won the intermediate final, and your award was for your performance in the intermediate final last week against Arva. Phenomenal display.
Well, yeah. Look, it was a long wait. As I said, it was probably when you interviewed me after the game, it was just a surreal feeling. It hadn't actually sunk in, but I suppose as the week went on, we kind of realised what we had achieved and what we had done, and it was pure relief, Mickey, to be honest with you, just to get over the line. I suppose all through the championship campaign, we had faced battles. We had been down in games, and even in the final there against Arva, we had under no illusions who we were going to meet. Like, they were on the back at three county finals, county title last year. So, we knew we were going to face a big challenge, and they came at us in that second half. But sure, look, it was just pure relief just to get over the line and get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when Drumalee won it in 2006. It was 37 years since Drumalee had won an adult title like that at senior level, and it was 47 years since Hughes had won one. But incredible scenes.
Oh, the outpouring, I suppose, of emotion immediately after the game, and then later on when we made it back to Ballyhaise, it kind of opened your eyes up a little bit as to what it does for not just the club or not just a group of players, but actually a community, like people who I suppose had soldiered for a long time in a Ballyhaise jersey without any success. And I suppose for them it was as much a celebration as it was for the group of players and that, so it's just pure relief to get it done and get it over the line.
Yeah. It was absolutely magnificent, and it's funny because 1968 was the last time you won the junior championship. 1968 was the last time that and in 1968 when Templeport won the junior championship, Ballyhaise won the intermediate. And I'm going to move on now to Shane Gray, because it gets more interesting. Because in 1968, Shane, the last time that these two teams won the junior championship and the intermediate championship, Castleratton lost in the senior final in 1968. So the omens were set in place for you today.
Well, I suppose it went our way in the end. We went a few points up, and then it was shaky at the end again. I don't think we ever we don't make it easy for ourselves. It's always, I suppose, exciting for the neutral anyway. But thankfully we're over the line anyway, and we'll enjoy tonight and maybe the next few days as well.
You will indeed, and it was a remarkable performance today. But this award that you won was for your semi-final performance against Cavan Gaels. A wonderful display by you that night. You went 6 points up after 6 minutes. Cavan Gaels came back into it and were level by half time, but you saw it out in the second half, and you kept them to 2 scores in the second half. In no small part to you, because you were marking one of the best players in the country, one of the best corner forwards in the country in Martin Dunn, and you kept him scoreless from play. It was a remarkable performance by yourself.
Yeah, well, like when you're playing the Gaels, you're always up against it, so it's not very hard to get up for a game against the Gaels. They set the pinnacle in club football in Cavan, so you're always up for it, and you always want the chance to play them and chance to beat them. We were massive underdogs that day as well in a lot of people's eyes, so we were up for that game, and we were sure we were going to win it, and thankfully we did. And I suppose keeping Martin Dunn scoreless helped, but it was definitely a team performance.
Yeah, I think you are all in line for county call-ups, lads. So don't be thinking about doing that in November or December of this year. Don't be celebrating Christmas, because I'd say you'll all be in county panels. But Shane, on top of that, having won the semi-final, we've spoken about it already. So after winning the final, we're here in the Kilmore Hotel. All the lads are out watching the rugby and getting ready to have the celebratory dinner. We're going to let you go in a minute, but has it sunk in yet?
Not really. I suppose when the final whistle went, it was more relief than anything else. We were there last year. We lost by a point towards the end. Paul Smith got the ball at the end again, and I thought the ball was going over the bar, but thankfully it hit the post, and we hung on in the end. But it's more relief. There's a lot of lads there that are soldiering with Kingscourt for the last 15, 16 years, like Mossy Malone, Tommy Wakely, Gavin Shane, and them boys have only won one senior championship. This is their second now, so I'm delighted for them boys, and even the younger boys coming on as well. After losing the final last year, it's good. Some of them weren't there in 2010, so it's good that they get the taste for now, and hopefully we can push on and be the pinnacle now and get on top of the Gaels and everyone else and keep pushing on.
I love the way you said that, lads. There's lads in our club that have only one senior championship medal. There's a lot of people around the county who have no senior championship medals.
With our, I suppose, even the centenary or the 25-year team celebration today, like in the town, them boys have 7 and 8 senior championships. So, they set the bar in the town, so we're trying to live up to them as well. So
that's what I mean. It shows you the mentality of the players that are there now. Is that you don't want one, you don't want two, you want to have the same as those lads that were represented here in Kingsmore and Breffni Park today at half time. You want to be up there with living legends like them.
That's it, exactly. So every year we feel we've a chance at winning the senior championship. Last year unfortunately didn't happen. This year it did, thank God, and we'll enjoy it now the next few days.
Excellent. Well, lads, look, the way it is now, you'll all be going forward into the Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars Awards night. I'm sure we'll see us there, and then the team of the year will be picked that night, and the awards will be going out. So from all of us here in the Hotel Kilmore, it's thank you and good night.
That's great.
Echo.
The omens are around here too, so they are.
Ooh, it's Halloween.
Okay. That was Shane Gray, Ben Kiernan, and of course Stephen Smith from Ballyhaise, out in the Kilmore with yourself. So look at all three worthy recipients of the Breffni All-Stars Player of the Week, sponsored by Sheridan Insurances. So well done to all involved.
And there's one last Player of the Week that'll be nominated and announced in the next couple of days as well for the weekend just gone by, and then it'll be off to the final of the Sheridan Insurance Breffni All-Stars then, so it will coming up in a couple of months' time.
The final?
As in the big...
Oh, the night.
The big night.
Oh yes, sorry,
where the full team is picked.
That's it, where the team of the year is announced. But yeah, we're looking ahead though on the I think it's the 1st or the 2nd of November. The Cavan teams that won their respective championships will go on to represent Cavan in Ulster, and Kingscourt are taking on the Down champions. It's at home in Kingsborough and Breffni Park on the Sunday afternoon. And Ballyhaise are also at home that afternoon. They'll take on Duhamlet, who are the Monaghan champions.
After beating Carrick Macross yesterday.
Exactly, by a single point. And then the only away team we have is Templeport. They take on the Donegal champions up in Ballybofey. So it's on the same day at the same time. So
same day as well. So all three teams are playing on the same day.
Yeah.
Very good. So that'll be interesting. Get out and support whatever teams you can. Obviously get to Kingsborough and Breffni Park for the double header, and anybody who can get to Donegal as well to follow the Templeport team, get out as well. But which of the teams do you think will do the best out of those three, or where do you see?
Kingscourt. I remember saying last year after Cavan Gaels were beaten by Slaughtneil that I felt Kingscourt would have beaten Slaughtneil because Cavan Gaels, I think, have been scarred that many times by being beaten in Ulster that they're getting it hard to get over it, whereas Kingscourt I don't think will fear anybody in Ulster.
Yeah.
They'll go out and express themselves. My fear for Ballyhaise is I'm hearing stories that there's a stag party or something the week before, and that my fear might be that they might let an opportunity slip, and I think that if Cavan Gales or if Ballyhaise applied themselves, I think they'd win Ulster. I think that they're good enough, but I don't know if Ballyhaise will apply themselves for Ulster, and that's my fear. I hope to God they do, because God knows when they'll get into Ulster again. They'll want to be in Ulster as senior champions of Cavan, but that might take a few years, and they definitely won't want to be in Ulster as intermediate champions ever again. So it's a once in a lifetime maybe opportunity that Ballyhaise need to be seizing.
And the thing about it is that out of the 3 teams, I think that Ballyhaise are probably boxing below their weight.
In championship
Do you know what I mean?
terms.
In championship terms.
Yeah.
Like Ballyhaise, okay, they've made it to senior now, but they should be a senior club a long time now. But they've been playing Division 1A football. They're a really, really good team. They're well seasoned. They've got really good footballers. They would do well in that Ulster Intermediate Championship.
Yeah. Now, traditionally, the Monaghan champions are always favourites for Ulster.
Yeah.
So they're going to have their work cut out against Duhamlet. It will be a big ask, and even at their best, Ballyhaise will have to play very well to beat that Duhamlet team. But the point being that if Ballyhaise apply themselves, and it's a big if, because I know that they've celebrated hard this week, and look, they're entitled to do that, but I worry for them. And
yeah, it's just the fact that, okay, the party hard this week, and that's all right and fine and the whole lot, but it's just the fact that that stag party is going to be the week before it. Can they go on that stag do and not go crazy and whatever? But look, there are other things to life as well apart from football, and that's true. The worst part about it is that they mightn't get to go on another stag party like that again. Either, but look, we would love to see them doing well, and they have a big chance of doing well in Ulster. So look, best of luck to Ballyhaise. Templeport.
Yeah, look at Templeport. The only thing is, traditionally the junior champions in Donegal are a very strong outfit. They're a very strong team, and they could be up against it. It's a very young Templeport team. Will they have enough experience to get them over the line?
There's two ways of looking at it.
There's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it. Like, will they have the experience, or then again, they won't fear it because the young fellas that are on the team just love to play football. So they could spring a surprise, because they could just go, right lads, look, we're in bonus territory here. Let's go out and express ourselves. And those young fellas could do it. It's just a hard one to call.
It is. You're going into the unknown. The only known quantity that we do know is Duhamlet have won. I think they've won an Ulster Intermediate. They definitely won an All-Ireland Junior a lot of years back. I think they could have 3 or 4 intermediate titles in Monaghan in the last maybe 5-6 years. They seem to be an up and down all the time team. So that's the only known quantity. But I'd be urging Ballyhaise to take it seriously and give it absolutely everything, but I'd be fearful that they mightn't.
So if you're listening, Ballyhaise, do it for me, Damien.
Listen to Uncle Damien, and just cop yourselves on, right?
Do it for us.
Get out there and bloody train like hell. Get John Brady up to that pitch and bust yourselves for the next week or two. Get yourselves in good shape, and you could even go and enjoy the stag and make one day out of it and go and enjoy it.
Show Damien some love.
Indeed. So that brings us to the end of this week's show.
Remember, if you want to get in contact with us, we'd be delighted to hear from you. You can email us at GaelicFootballViews.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views.
No, you can email us that's wrong. I don't know why I wrote that. It's GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com.
Yeah, corrected, right. Yeah, GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com. Why did you?
I don't know.
GaelicFootballViews.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views, or you can follow us on Twitter at GaelicFV, or you can go to the We Are Cavan website, and you can message us there as well. So,
which is wearecavan.com, obviously, and the Twitter and the Facebook is the same, We Are Cavan. So look at our thanks to the backroom team of Brian Daly and Paul PC, who's always there to lend a helping hand.
Yeah, Paul Cox is always there for us, so he is, and also to the Kingscourt lads, the Ballyhaise lads, and obviously the Templeport lads. It was one from each team that came into the Hotel Kilmore yesterday on their day off to do those interviews, and fair play to them all for getting involved. And one last thing, don't forget that the Gauna are having their
that's right, Emerald Star
are playing
Emerald Storm.
It's
not the boat, it's
not the boat, it's the dancers and the singers. Their fundraising night will be on the Saturday the 30th, I think it is.
Is it?
Of
can't just think of
this month. So get out and support the Gaelic club who are going to be having that night in the Hotel Kilmore. So look, until next week, it's good night for me and
God bless.